Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, it's free money, free help, courtesy of Matthew Lesko at Lesko Loves AI. How about that straight off the top.com /business for you business lovers? Get that free money, grant money, free help, and put in your zip code. Go through his system, you'll see what you love. Also, buy assets that pay you. That's the only thing that matters right now going forward. And we have two deadlines coming up in the next year and a half. I suggest you stay tuned and welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here on this Wednesday evening. And make sure you share the videos, please, so you let other people know, boys, girls, men, women. You know what? They all need to know this because the deadline's coming and a lot of people are working their behinds off, not realizing what's going on in their daily lives that their government is doing. So therefore, we have to talk about you being prepared. Free help. You can go to several places. Findhelp.org, put in your zip code. Findhelp.org, where you have nonprofits that help people out. Put in your zip code, American citizens. This is only in America. Put in your zip code. And then, as I started off this live stream, which won't be long tonight, I want to point out LesGoLovesAI.com /business. And by the way, you can find it down below in the description box on several different platforms. And in case you don't see it in the platforms, then you got to come over to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and then go through the live chat and you will find the links there. It's that simple. Easy for you, no matter how you slice it. And other platforms that are also watching, you may have to come over to different platforms to get this information. So, where are we going to start? Stock market. We had NASDAQ movement today. That's not bad. Stock market is where the big boys play, the wealthy play, because it's going to continue to go up, but it's going to always come down at some time. It's been overdue. It's been artificially happening because of the pandemic, but it's overdue that the stock market should have a correction down. There's not that much money in it. It's recycled money, government money, so companies can buy back their own shares. It's government contracts. And then, of course, there are companies that do make money. But the problem is not the companies making money. The problem is your customers, your consumers. They are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of your consumers are living paycheck to paycheck. So they need some sort of solutions. And those solutions means I got to go to see LesGoLovesAI.com /business. And if you want to start a business, granted, it does sometimes take money unless you know about this link I'm telling you to go check out and you put in the same zip code of where your business is going to be and see all kinds of help that's going to be there for you. And once you get over there, you'll realize, wait, there's more than just LesGoLovesAI.com /business. There's /pay debt. He's got all kind of these AI things. I won't get into that today, But you can just start with the first one, and then you will see other ads on that platform so you can find out about the other ones. All kinds of help that the government doesn't like telling people. Just saying. So, free money, you go to findhelp.org. Not only free money for mortgage, free money for rent, down payment assistance, also caregiving help, a lot of things. You need a bus pass, a subway pass, a lot of things. Car help, job training, all kind of things. Put in your zip code if you need help. This has nothing to do with business. The other one, business, is very good. Now, let me get to the most important part. Let me get to the most important part. Um, you have to go. I'm having. Hold on a second. It felt like. I guess nope, nothing's on my mouth. Um, the most important part is the two things that you need to deal with in the next 4 months. You're going to need several things. You need a bank account outside the United States. You're also going to need real estate or a business outside the United States. And you're going to need a 775 credit score. Right now, here it is, August. I predicted sometime in August or September that you might see or should see 36 months at 0% interest. That's what you want to get in bed with. Right now they have 24 months, which is still good. You should be getting those. So you can pay down near 100% of whatever you pay goes towards your debt instead of these 20%, 17%, 25%, 35% loans. So again, at findhelp.org, you might be able to get some loan help. You can get car repair help, car payment help. All kind of things are there. Some cities or some locations, there's hundreds of things that can help people. So just keep that in mind. Again, here it is, 775 credit score. You needed this in the next 5 months. Business or real estate outside the United States. And you need a bank account, not in USA jurisdiction. So, not in Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands, that is. Not in Puerto Rico, not in American Samoa. You don't need none of these banks that are USA banks. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. A broke country is in a war and they're still wasting trillions of dollars. That's going to end up badly for all of us. And that's why tonight's subject matter, the free money you're going to need, the free business help you're going to need. We give it to you down below. Passive income ideas you're going to need because you're going to have to figure out, are you going to be broke enough or are you too broke to be able to put a few dollars into passive income ideas? Well, there is something that I haven't talked about, which they actually have a live stream right now, unfortunately. It might be over. But I might as well give you something that may or may not cost you that you can refer other people to. That could help you out. How come I don't see this? This is interesting. And I'm going to put a link in the... Hold on a second. I got to check something out. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay. They went on a worldwide tour, so you can refer other people and make some money. So you need to go sign up with Bankus because it's a crypto Visa debit card. Just saying. You can refer other people and make money because you have to buy the card. You can buy a metal card or a plastic card. The plastic card is $50 shipped. The metal card is $100 shipped. If you're in the USA, it's going to take 2 to 4 weeks to come because it meets one of the criterias. The company is outside of America. They use crypto. So, any commissions you earn, you get crypto. If you want to upload crypto to this card, then you can use the Visa side or a PIN number as well, an ATM. You can get your money. Beautiful work. So I put a link in the chat room for Bankus. And every Tuesday and Thursdays, you know what they have? Zoom calls. They went on a hiatus. They went all over the world to, it was like a world tour, quite frankly. I don't know what they were doing, but they were selling a lot of cards to a lot of unbanked people. There's a lot of countries, you would be surprised, that citizens do not have a bank account, can't get a bank account. So this helps them out greatly, but it uploads via crypto. So again, that's probably a win-win, but the point is, yeah, it's crypto. And you can only upload certain things, USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So it's limited, but nonetheless, those are the main ones that people use. So that's a great thing. So that's what you need to think about right now as well, because again, your money outside the United States jurisdiction. Now, buy assets that pay you. And oh, by the way, you know what? I'm going to make this early today. At the end of the live stream, I actually put in something. At the end of the live stream, EV Place, another investor is here, taking heed to the objectives. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, SSN family. I hope you are all doing well. I concur. Hopefully all of you out there are doing well. I know the numbers. You know the numbers. 80% of you are not doing well. Living paycheck to paycheck, and the prices are rising. No fault of your own, but they're still rising. Nothing you can do about it. And there's a limited amount of jobs available, so that's a problem. But I want to also thank EV Place with the icon next to his name, because I humbly appreciate a member of the channel, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to start making some member-only content. That's going to be very interesting. And so, if you want to become a member of the channel, start checking that out as well. But now back to this passive income stuff. Because again, passive income is starting to get harder and harder to obtain if you're not going to use the stock market. Because then other things are just like when I talked about the Bankus card, by referring other people and then they refer other people, which is more like networking, then you can make passive income that way. But as we all know, yeah, generally one or two people is going to sign up. So that's not really sustainable unless you can sign up 40, 50 people or 30, whatever the number would be, where you would have a nice steady monthly income. But once again, people would still have to stay in and deal with the card, and not everybody's going to keep uploading all the time or sending money to people or anything like that. So again, I don't advise that to be used, but you're going to have to figure out where you can be at home making money, sleeping. Or you don't have to work 40 hours a week, maybe 30 minutes a week, an hour a week. That's a nice little trade-off. And you still have money coming in. I'll call that passive as well, because you're not working 40, 50 hours a week. So that's fine. But it's going to get harder and harder. So you're going to have to create something, which is going to be where the world goes, in my opinion. And this is going to be abrupt. I believe in the next, I think it's going to be 5, 6 years. That's what I think. 30, 30, yeah, 30, 30, 30, 31, 30, 32. Money is going to be pretty much worthless, because it's already worthless to just print more of it. Devalue your currency, so that's why inflation keeps rising. So that can't go away. So then you're going to run into the situation we had now. In case you weren't here on Monday, here's what happened. Or was it Friday? Sorry, it was Friday, last week, Friday. Did you guys know there's only 160 million people that have a job in America? That's it. Did you also know there's over 300 million United States citizens? So you can't be mad if somebody's homeless. You can't be mad if somebody's starving. You can't be mad when you have damn near half your no, you do have damn near half your population that does not have a job. What could go wrong? I'll tell you what goes wrong. Not enough people are going to have assets. Not enough people are going to make passive income. Not enough people can create extra income either when you have no money and no food in your belly and maybe not even a roof over your head. That's how this simply goes. If you have half of your population that don't have a job, what do you think's going to happen? Exactly. I know some of you are thinking this, that, and the other. Here's how it goes down, just so you understand. This is why you need Matthew Lesko out here. That's right, the late night infomercial guy to have these type of sites, findhelp.org and LeskoLovesAI.com/business. Because if you're one of the half, you need to know these websites. You need to go to the library. You need to go in there and open up the library computers and get to these sites so you can get some help. Because otherwise, nobody's coming to save you. All right? In fact, it's going to be bad when you have another 10 to 20 people who are out of work. That's going to happen. AI is here. So what's going to happen to these people? That's a burden on society, and you can't have half your population or more living paycheck to paycheck, and now you're going to be mad when you have millions of people that are homeless. And you have millions of people who are homeless and broke and need food. What just by human nature is going to happen? They're going to break in your house. They're going to break in your car. They're going to try to rob you at the grocery store. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? Just saying. So in order for you to stay above the fray, you're going to have to get some of the passive incomes. You're going to have to figure out things while you can, while you have the internet. Post-retirement travel in the house. He's here. Mr. Worldwide 2 is in the house. He's about to start his worldwide tour coming up. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. He says, hello all, let's do this. That's what we do here. We try to help you, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have courses. It's the no guru zone. No way, no how. But what you do have is live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And also on our live streams, our chat room is open. You don't have to pay to get answers. We have the real deal in this house. We want to uplift everybody so everybody has a rising tide so we can lift all the boats. Except it's going to get a lot harder on lifting the next one. Because when we have half our population out of a job, don't work, that's a heavy, heavy payload coming downhill. And the snowball has not even really started. Wait till it picks up some steam. And you're going to be in trouble. Post-retirement travel, very nice to see you again with that icon, like I'm saying, with EV Place next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. Now, do you guys understand? We pay attention to the stock market. But if you don't have any money, then you have to do things a little more unconventional. Or you have a little bit of money. Either way, you're going to have to invest in yourself. And you know what? The easiest thing to do is what we've been talking about. Ownership lately, even though that's not the title, that's also free money. Right now, think about this. You can write memoirs, so to speak. You can write a book based on your life. All tools are available to you. You can put it into the AI machine. Just saying. You can do it by speaker. Just start with the story. When I was a little kid and I went to school my first day, start it off. And then post it up online. Audio on demand. You can make some money, or you can make your own little episodes and use social media to potentially put out little snippets of your episodes. Short stories. You would own the rights, but you got to copyright it. So just spend the 60, 75 bucks, 70 bucks, whatever. Just spend that. Call it a day. You copyright your materials. Then you own it. Nobody else can steal it. And then maybe anything else can happen. But you have a way where you can make some money from it passively. And you can start with episode 1 if you want to make it like a little series or something. I mean, I'm just giving you some ideas that you can think about. You can also start dictating to write a book. You can get with the publisher or you can self-publish it yourself. Come on now. This is where things are going. Because if you're not going to be able to own corporations or be on the board or be an executive of these corporations, they're going to get theirs. Everybody else is going to be laid off. So they're still going to have their revenue, their W-2s, their executive deals. You, on the other hand, you're just collateral damage. We got rid of expenses. That's what employees are to corporations. You're an expense. So that's why when a corporation says we're going to lay off 1,000 people, their stock price goes up. Do you understand? What does that tell you? You are the liability and you are the mark. And speaking of the mark, did you guys know that Henry Ford and a few of his compadres decided to figure out what the best amount of hours per week was? And they came upon 40 because they figured out it was just enough time for you to get rest, just enough time where you would come back to work because they're going to pay you enough so you will have to come back to work. This is a calculation. This wasn't just some random thing to help you. No, helping you would be like if you lived, well, I don't know, in the EU, in Australia, in damn near half of the countries you could live in, you would have less hours of work, for one. You would have universal health care. Not for all. That's less than half of half, but still. All NATO countries have universal health care. Free college, or damn near free college. Just free schooling. Just saying that would go a long way. Extra training. Improve your skill sets. But everybody's going to be playing for a small amount of skill set jobs because AI is coming. No way around it. That's cheaper for the mega corporations. Who, by the way, I should tell you, in case you're wondering, the mega corporations are not the main employment operators in the country. Mom and pop businesses are the ones that create the most jobs. So when you have a bad economy, it costs more for them to order products from overseas. It costs more to buy from the United States. They have to raise the price. They don't have customers coming through the door. They have to lay off their crew, their employees. So what happens? We lose another business that was employing mom and pop businesses. They're in the millions. The government can't employ everybody. Mom and pop businesses do. So when they go bye-bye, tariffs, you heard of them? When they go bye-bye, what's going to happen? You guys understand there's a correlation. Actually, since we have AI, you guys can just copy and let them put your phone up there and say, is this what this guy's saying is true? What do you think of this? What's going to be the end game? You can start doing your own research. You can see where this goes. This isn't rocket science. You don't know where you live, and so you better get things ready. You're going to need that free money. You're going to need free business help if you're in business. Again, Lesko, Lesko, loves AI polygon.com/business. Go there for your business. Get your training, get your paperwork, get your government contracts. That's for sure. If you can get government contracts, at least you know you're getting paid taxpayer money. And so all of that you're going to need. If you don't know how to write a book, you don't want to write a book, you don't want to do audio on demand, you don't want to do any videos, you don't want to do nothing, you don't want to be on TikTok, you don't want to be on social media, you want to hide out, that's great. But unfortunately, you're better to have a piece of a piece than nothing at all. YouTube just changed their program for monetization now. That's right. They decided they need to keep more money. Isn't that lovely? Google said, in case you don't know, Google owns YouTube. So Google says, yeah, we need to make some more money. It's not good enough that we keep 60-70% of the money. I'm sorry, that's not exactly how much. But 50 to 55% of the money, it's not. We need more. So they changed the rules. They said something to the effect of if you started out here on YouTube and you got 4,000 watch hours, you would get monetized. Now they say it's 8,000 watch hour minutes before you can get monetized. And they've done other changes as well. So now they're trying to keep more of the money in house. Do you understand? We knew this was coming because $1 trillion company, they just don't make enough money. Heaven forbid that a few ordinary citizens get a few 20, 50, 70, $100 checks. This is so wild. But they get the subsidies, taxpayers. And this is the type of stuff that they do. So you do have another option, but the other option is, well, very hard to do. You'd have to be a techie. You would have to be in the tech field. You would have to create some technological improvement. Something you can make that brings in passive revenue streams. That's the only thing. And once again, it's very hard because you generally need a collective. You need several people to make it happen. So if you want to buy assets, one would be to invest in yourself, make sure your health is fine because the situation with health is out of control, not because of you, it's because you don't understand what's in our food supply and water supply. You think America's like this first world country that everything is all straight. It's not straight. All right? They put chlorine or fluorides because remember, they have to recirculate the water. How good are those recirculation plants? I don't know. You might want to put something in your water to find out. How many particles of something is in our water? Well, you don't want to know. All right. All these type of things you should be worried about is your health is number one. Because if you get sick, it's almost game over. If you don't have any type of coverages, it's game over. Because they do treat people differently if you have no insurance. I'm just going to tell you right now, taking care of my aunt. Because again, when we start talking about buy assets, this is one asset you have to pay. If something happens to you, just listen to what I'm saying now. Tell all your friends and family. If something happens, whether you have insurance or not, they are only doing it because it's a for-profit healthcare system. As long as you have insurance, they will do anything and everything to tack on a bill. Soon as you don't have insurance, they will do nothing and show you the door. This is not nonprofit prior to 1970s. You will get kicked out. You will have to leave. And if you do have things of any healthcare insurance and they have buckets, you stayed in this facility for X amount of time, you're at the hospital at emergency for past the allotted days. Now you have to start paying some sort of copay. Remember, this is how you get wiped out, especially you get more frail as you get older. So as that fragility sets in, you get sick easier and little things happen and you got to go to the hospital. So again, you can see where this is going. If you're not going to protect yourself, who will? So the only way you can protect yourself even better is if you have good health care. So I implore you right now to hook up your own program with, you can do it with AI these days, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we want you at close to 120 over 65, 75 as possible. We want your veins to be pliable so your blood can go through your body efficiently. Pump your heart. It goes efficiently. You got to eat the proper foods, but now the foods are tainted. So now what do? It's almost like you have to pay attention all over the place. I'm going to the farmer's market. Or you better start putting them crates out back if you don't want to dig in your soil and start planting your own fruits and veggies. At least that would be a little something that comes off of out of the God's earth. But see, that is an asset for you. Is it worth it? Yes. All these are assets. We're trying to help you out here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Also, update your profile on LinkedIn. Invest in yourself. Set a goal to learn a new skill. Exactly. They're a website that offer contracting jobs from admin to tech. I still get calls even after retirement. He's very right. You got to put yourself out there because there's a limited amount of jobs and there's a lot of people looking for jobs. Just like he said, they've already, like he's getting calls right now. So they're looking for people, but they don't know where to find you. So they're getting somebody that they randomly call, which is not really random. They know who they're calling. They call, so that job gets filled and you didn't even know it was available. Again, everything you do, you can't just stay in the background anymore. Half of people watching this are out of a job, living paycheck to paycheck. This is going to continue. It's going to get worse. So you have to be in the game on all different fronts. This thing back in the day where you have 5 streams of revenue, 7 streams of revenue, okay, it's getting harder and harder for that because we are having a contraction. So therefore, you want the free money, you want the free help, you better get it. You want the free financing. After you get the free help, you better get it. Go to free money sites, findhelp.org. You're having a stressful situation, go to 211.org or dial 211 on your phone. Somebody will pick up, and if you need help mentally, they'll help you. All right? We need to get you guys on track around here. Everybody here in the SSN Nation, they're going to be pretty much straight. They've been around. They understand what to do. But this is getting a little more dire because my deadline is coming up that we started 3 years ago. And actually, it was 2 years and 9 months, 2 years and 8 months ago. We started a countdown. And my, has time flown by. December 31st, 2026. You don't have those 3 things that I talked about at the beginning. Bank account outside the United States, business or real estate outside the United States, or 775 credit score. You're going to be behind the 8 ball even further. Because this is not sustainable at all. So passive income can come from different places, but you may not be comfortable with those places. I know even my own daughters, they don't want to be on social media, even though they're on social media. I don't get it. Right? They're on social media watching other people do stuff, but they don't want to put themselves on camera on social media, but they post pictures on social media. But they don't want to do anything on social media from their knowledge, experiences, and talk to people, make videos. Nope, can't do that. Weird, but this is where a lot of people feel uncomfortable, and this may be where you have to go because these social media platforms, TikToks of the world, Instagrams of the world, if you get viral, get going, then you have nice checks coming in. I myself can't get viral or get going, never have. I always attribute it to who knows. Um, all I know is I'm on the watch list. That's all I'm going to tell you. We had, for the first time, we had over 1,001 Instagram followers. After all these years, just 1,000. Even though, you know what's even funnier? There's I saw it just today, 4,400 posts that I've posted, copies of the live stream, sayings, motivational things, health things, a myriad of things, basically positive affirmations. 4,400 over all these years, and not even 1,000 subscribers because they took 40 away. So I'm around 960 now again at the Stop Struggling Now Instagram site, or Instagram, which is kind of funny. Over 1,000 videos. Actually, it's more than that. 1,500 probably by now. No checks coming. And as you guys know, we never have thousands of views on any live stream, even 500 or even 200 or even 100 or even 50. Let's just say it's because nobody likes what we talk about here. Helping people to try to stay above the fray of financial destitution. This is crazy. All right, trying to help people with real estate, which, by the way, at the end of the live stream, I did a video I found. Hold on, I was going to do it earlier Here we go. This is real estate investing I used to do 25, 30 years ago. Jeez, a long time ago. The young guns.
To order that free brochure, now is the time to do it. It's a free call and a free brochure. There's absolutely no obligation when you call. Do yourself a favor and order the free brochure and look it over. There are hundreds of properties to choose from. You may just be surprised at what you find. And like I said, it's free. So make that call. Start planning your future by owning real estate today. What did you think of the selection of properties that we had available for you?
Well, I thought that there was a vast selection of properties in different cities, in different counties, in different states. It was a spectacular, selection. And so for someone that does their homework, they can really get a lot of great buys.
There are a large variety of sizes and prices and locations, so I think that's fantastic. It just gives you a good opportunity to find the best parcel for you.
They have 100 or 150, 200 pieces of property, so there's something here for everybody. North Coast, South Coast, ocean, desert.
Well, actually, I've been on properties in California, in Utah, Nevada, Hawaii, and New Mexico.
What do you think of the variety of the property?
Absolutely. All over the United States. You guys have property in Hawaii, for God's sakes, for dirt cheap. I mean, you can't beat that.
$1,200 in Hawaii. 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,009. 10,000.
The land is selling like crazy in there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw the SSN Nation YouTuber in the house, old school style, the late night infomercial reel. That's right, every 8 minutes. That's what was rolling for their infomercials that they used to run. They are now the properties. Some of them are discount lots. That's why I'm familiar with what they do, but it's no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. You can take over payments for lots. But again, I caution you, that is another way to make passive income. If you know what you're doing, not buying the lot and letting it sit, you have to have a plan. All right? That's how you do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. I've told this story several times over the years, but at that particular auction right here, a guy walks up to me and he starts talking to me about property. He says, "Hey man, I've seen you bidding on stuff. What's going on? I'm looking at something out by Riverside. I was like, Palm Springs area? What are you talking about right now? It's desert, but they have like 20 acres. And he's like, man, it went for 14 grand. I don't have 14 grand. I said, 14 grand. I was like, that was overpriced, but it's only the beginning of the auction. Don't worry about it. That just means he got out the way. But he might have also checked out the parcel, and maybe the parcel it wasn't landlocked, and maybe it had water, sewer, and electricity running to it. That would make it worth something. But if it didn't, well, then it's just going to sit there. So I started going to talk to him about this 20, 25 acres that they would often have at the land auction in the middle of the desert, Palm Springs, Riverside County areas, San Bernardino County. So I told him, well, if you have a plan, then you can implement the plan. Then you should buy it. But I said, you're not going to buy it at 14. You got to buy it for around 5, 6, 7, somewhere like that. That was overpriced. I said, I don't know why. You can always get those. Just wait a little bit longer. So that's it. I'm just bidding just like everybody else. I talk to this young guy. I talk to a lot of people because they see me raising my hand a lot. So they think I know something. Because I used to fake bid, so to speak. There'd be properties that come up in the neighborhood that I want. And at these auctions, you can see there's a room full of people. There's probably 1,000 people. And so just by default, they start with the price, let's just say $500. By default, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? So whenever they say the first number, I raise my hand. Whenever they say the second number, because the second number is only going to be either 550 or 600. So even if I got it for that price, I'm still like, oh, thank you. So 600. So I know somebody's going to probably outbid me because we had like 6, 7 people bidding. And it's still at a low price. So then I'll even go another one, 700. Because basically, if somebody's going to be 700 for 3 acres or whatever, or lots in a city, I'm like, yeah. So it was just fake bidding, basically, because it was in an area that I wanted, and I needed some of these guys to buy now, because most of the time people would not buy more than one. After they get what they want, they get excited, they go sign out and do what their paperwork and roll or come back in just to see what's going on. So that's why I was there. It seemed like I bid a lot, so people would start asking me questions. So what do you think of this area? I'm like I'm the answer guy, like I work there or something. What do you think of this area? I see you bid on a lot of different things. And I tell people the same thing I'm telling you. Don't buy anything landlocked. Don't buy any land that has no utilities going to it unless you have a plan. So anyhow, fast forward. Probably about a year and a half later, we're in Irvine. And I'm at the auction. I do my bidding. I win one time. And then I usually always stand in the back anyhow. So I'm standing in the back, and all of a sudden I see this guy like briskly coming up the aisle. But I'm like moving over to the left. He comes out. He's like, hey, Eric, I've been looking for you, man. I got to thank you. And now my wife has to thank you, because when I bought this before, she was upset at me, man. I said, what? What do you mean? He's like, man, I met you over at the other place when I was in LA or something a year ago, whatever. And I'm like, this is crazy right now. I'm like, yeah. I remember you asked me about you were going to do something, and I told you don't buy it locked and something else. He says, yeah, man, I took your advice. I got 20, 25 acres. I was like, really? I bought it for like 6,500. I said, right on. Now, water, sewer, garbage? He's like, no. I said, what do you mean, no? That's not the rules. He says, I don't need the rules. I can create the recreational vehicle. That's what I did. I'm digging mounds. I dug up some mounds. I went out there. I said, what about the water? He says, oh, man, I put up our own little snack bar. So we got the water that they pay for, the little food and the little snacks. I put the barbecue grill out there. And you know what else? I got porta potties. And he goes, I got the guys with the ATV, the dirt bikes, and I charge them. I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. Unbelievable for $6,500 and some earth moving equipment and an innovation with no electricity, no running water, nothing, but just the basic stuff because nobody cared. They just needed a place to wash their hands, a place to use the toilet, and some snacks and water and whatever else he had. And he was in business. It was like, this is incredible. Anyhow, you just never know, ladies and gentlemen, what somebody's going to come up with. But that was his idea, and it worked. I couldn't believe it. I didn't, first of all, I've been doing land stuff at the time, but I never basically saw anybody develop anything or do anything. So I wasn't really skeptical, other than once he told me what he was doing, I was like, oh, that makes sense, because he already had a plan. But if he didn't have a plan, like most people, they buy it, then they go look at it, and they're like, oh man, there's no houses around here. It's in the middle of the desert. Tumbleweeds are going through. There's no water. And in fact, it looks like I'm landlocked, which a lot of people don't realize. In California, you always have an easement. You're never landlocked. So that also changed how much people bid too, because in the mapping, they can see it's landlocked. So then people don't buy it. But they have easements in California. So that's the thing. It's funny as hell. And if you know that, then you can get property cheap as well. All kind of little stuff. Make financial growth fun. Understand what your net worth is and track it monthly. It will provide you with a strong incentive to keep growing. Oh yeah, that's very good advice. This is what we're talking about here. These are the things USA Education doesn't teach you. You got that right. They're never going to give you that, because the thing is, if you start getting smart, then you start looking at your money and everything differently. Because then you start going, why am I spending money on this? Why am I doing that? Mo Better's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. What's up, SSN Nation? What's up, E? We in the building. Just smash that like button on the way in. And I can't keep saying this Let's MAGA stuff, man. Stop. 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 You know how we got here, right? You know how we got here. To inflation numbers. You know how we got here. That's not, you can't make something great when it was broken already. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It never was great. I don't know what great means. I'm a black guy in America. I don't know what you mean. Ever since I'm 16, I'm getting pulled over by the cops just for driving while black. And that's still to this day. Well, no, not till this day, because I haven't been pulled over while driving by black. Well, wait, hold on. I got my first ticket a month ago in like 5 or 6 years. I don't even drive that much. But I was holding my cell phone in my hand in Vegas. And the cop pulled up beside me, saw me holding my phone because I was on a speaker call with my daughter. And he decided to pull behind me and give me a phone ticket. Because I'm carrying my phone while I'm driving. So I was on speakerphone. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was just holding my phone. He's like, oh, wait. Oh, you're from California. After he pulls my license, they have the same law there. I said, I don't know about any law because I never get pulled over. What are you talking about right now? He's like, well, I'm going to give you a ticket for driving with your cell phone in your hand. I wish I had my ticket because that's what it says. I couldn't wait, is it right here? I think it's right here. Let's see. Yeah, funny stuff. Yeah, you know. Yeah, man. I don't know what that great stuff means. You know? My parents had to live on the black side of town. See, I don't understand what that great stuff means. Ku Klux Klan trying to come down the street in their neighborhood. See, I don't understand what that "Make America Great Again" means. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Black people saying "Make America Great Again" is wild because I remember slavery. I remember Jim Crow. I don't know what was so great. I don't follow. I remember when there was no voters' rights, no any other kind of rights. Yeah, yeah. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Look at that. Look at this. I got a ticket for this. Driver. What did I say? Driver here aforementioned did have cell phone in right and viewing screen while operating vehicle. Well, he's lying about the viewing screen because I was on a phone call with my daughter. So what I had to do was um, I'm actually going to turn this in, but I have when he gave me a ticket, um, I had my daughter on the phone, so this ticket coincides with my phone call to my daughter. Of course, I'm going to answer the phone if my daughter calls me. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. But this clown, he rolled up fast. He rolled up fast. That was bad. That was bad. Mo Butter, what's up, buddy? Welcome, Mo. What's up, buddy? Are you on list of people that owe taxes? What a mess you guys got up there. Yes, come to Florida, the Freedom State. He's got no tax issue. It's normal. It's normal Democratic states that pay for GOP states that are on government welfare. If New York, California, and a few other Democratic states didn't pay into the federal system, red states, not all, but 90%, they don't have enough money to operate. I know, kind of bad. So, I don't know what to say about that. I narrowly escaped it, but thanks to the judge, that tax bill got rejected for now because the mayor cut corners trying to pass it. And you care about cutting corners now? Isn't this the Trump regime that's in charge right now? You don't care about pedo rapists protecting? What are you talking about out here right now? Cutting corners? You mean like trying to give himself $10 billion? Trying to get IRS exemption for his tax fraud so the government can't come after his ass? Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about right now, man? You forgive so much stuff. It's amazing. It's like all maggots can forgive all the crime and corruption and the pedo and the rapists and the racists and geesh. This is so wild. Meanwhile, they're kidnapping black and brown people off the street, killing them, and killing white people too, by the way. And it's just like, we don't care. We're going to make America great, like killing American citizens, kidnapping American citizens, kidnapping people off the street and killing them, effing the all women's girls. What kind of what what kind of good people do this kind of shit? Oh my God. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Ay, it's called the, don't know that one, non-primary residence property tax surcharge. Oh, I like it. Enacted to help close the city's budget gap and imposes an annual levy on luxury second homes, condos, co-ops, and 1 to 3 family properties valued at 1 million or more. Wow, that's a lot of properties. When the owner's primary residence is outside New York City. I like it. I like it. Myself, I like it. You know why I like it? It's because several reasons. Tax cut, tax breaks, one. Government contracts to these guys is a lot of them. Businesses, two. I don't know. I kind of like to help the ordinary citizens, which there's 300 million of ordinary citizens. There's 60 million millionaires and billionaires. I mean, there's only 3,000 billionaires, but there's like 58 to 60 million millionaires. So I just rounded to 60 million. 300 million Americans are not. And they're the ones that's going to get the tax cut, tax break, subsidies. But remember, you're in New York. Your taxes help the people of Florida, the people of Louisiana, the people of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas. This is funny stuff. But I like it because you know what? Everybody that owns a home, you pay property taxes on unrealized capital gains. Did you also know that if you make X amount of money, that you don't have to pay into the Social Security system? Do you guys know this? You don't keep paying just because you make $10 billion. You don't keep paying if you make 5 million, 5 billion. You don't keep paying. You make 1 billion. You don't keep paying if you make 300 million. It's capped. So while you are putting money in, they don't have to because they make so much money. So I'm not mad when somebody does stuff like this for non-residents, because I'm going to tell you something right now. When I needed to get my car registered in California, and I don't have my car in California, and I'm in a different state, the other state said you can't register your car here. I was like, what? What are you talking about? When did they start doing this? You have to become a resident. Whoa. No, hold on. This is no, not in the red state. I'm sorry. You guys don't show no love. See, you don't show no love. If something happens to me and I need to go to the hospital and do crazy stuff, you guys, that's one thing. No, I don't want to be a resident of here. You guys that do gerrymandering and changing up your voting and doing all this crazy stuff to make sure people that look like me can't vote. No, I don't think I want to be here. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I want my safety net gone, because you guys don't give a damn about people. You don't even care if kids have free lunch at school. So I'm like, hold up, man. If you don't care about kids getting lunch and getting fed while they're in school, you damn sure ain't gonna care about nothing else. So anyhow, man, don't get me started. All right, I like it. The only problem is that the letters went out to the people with primary homes, not secondary. 17K letters, homeowners got together and sued the mayor. Okay. The president is also looking at this and will look to stop it. Of course he will. He has a home up there. He don't live there. He's got Trump Towers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course he's going to, but he can't. It's state. So the fact that he's going to interfere in state, make America great again. Right. You do know that's not how the government operates. You're supposed to be separate. They don't interfere with legislation in states, right? You know, the Constitution and all that you guys don't care about no more either. Come on, man. That ain't going to make America great either. In fact, you know, they had to make these laws just to make white people do the right thing. That's why they made these amendments to the Constitution, just to get the white dudes to do the right thing somewhat. And then they circumvent him like Steve Miller does. You know, come on, man. Stop playing out here. This is craziness. So you guys don't care that the government looks into state stuff. You don't care if they get voter information, which they don't have any authority over voting. That's how the founding fathers made it. That's what the Constitution say. You don't care about giving up none of that. You don't care about giving our controls of Palantir and independent business, giving them when I get pulled over so they cops and everybody and the FBI and the police can roll through your financials, roll through your credit, roll through everything just to make sure if they jack you that you can't hem them up with lawsuits. That easy. This is crazy. And I think I almost got stationed at Fort Hamilton, New York, and came close to buying an apartment there about 20 years ago. I escaped that mess. Post-retirement travel, you did not escape. You would have bought something for a few $100,000. It would be worth over a few million. What are we saying right now? What are we saying? You'd be just like in the Bay Area of Cali, buying a $15,000-$20,000 home in the 60s, worth $2 million now. Except in New York, it's probably $4 million. I mean, you would have got so much appreciation, it wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have cared. There would be no mess. Actually, there is no mess. New York is still rolling. They still pay into the federal government system. They still help their citizens with medical, and they help immigrants with medical. They help them with financial difficulties. So I'm just saying, and people get paid. They don't live in a tourist environment in Florida. If we're talking about, well, the South is kind of a tourist environment, and they don't get paid. I don't think the wages are $7.50 an hour or whatever. So no, there would have been no mess. Remember, Rudy Giuliani was up there. You could have been pulled over by Rudy Giuliani's police force, and they would have said, "Hey, your tail light's out. You got to open up your trunk. Stop and frisk." Oh, that's right. That's Make America Great. I forgot the stop and frisk thing. That's now illegal to do. When they just usually pulled over the black people and brown people they didn't like, just for the hell of it. Stop and frisk. So they had to change a law, make a law so they could actually act right, do the right thing. Had to make a law. This is cracking me up. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, you didn't escape no mess, man. Your place would you would have had $5 million or $4 million would be worth whatever. Man, this is crazy. Crazy. President Trump is publicly condemned. Of course he did. And tax and announced he's federal. He's not supposed to intervene. That's the problem. So now you're good with federal government messing with states. You're just going to give up all your rights. This is crazy. I don't recall that was Making America Great Again. That looks like a communist situation right now. Authoritarian government, like Cuba when Castro rolled in and said, "I'm going to be all right. I'm going to do all this." And then Castro says, "Oh, no, I'm running all this. Shut it down. I'm taking the casinos. I'm going to keep all the money. My people can starve. But you know what? I'm going to go fight America." That's what Trump's doing. I'm going to take all your stuff, get rid of laws, overreach, do whatever. Don't follow the Constitution. Don't follow the laws. And we got people cheerleading it. Oh, my God. On August 11th, Trump posted on Truth Social. Oh, my God. Oh, the broke Truth Social. Stating the tax must be stopped. The tax must be stopped. He just gave tax cuts, tax breaks to the rich and corporations. What are we doing right now? Oh, it's his friends that he wants to give them, make sure that they don't have to pay taxes. I get it, but it has nothing to do with you, ordinary citizens. And wait, if he was concerned about tax, why would he not be concerned about $25 tariffs? Insta tax. That's what that is. So what are we doing right now? You're cheerleading this? Now you're cheerleading no tax. But the whole time, Make America Great Again is based on taxing ordinary citizens to pay for the rich guys' taxes and their businesses' subsidies and the energy data centers' energy. You're going to subsidize that. And the water that they take, you're going to subsidize that and have no water. You're down with that. And now he's talking about, I must be stopped. Yeah, that's how we felt about tax cuts and tax breaks for the rich. It should have been stopped. But the GOP's in charge, so they voted for it, ran it through the House and the Senate, and voila. 25%, 28% of the deficit, of the US deficit, is from Trump's 2 terms. I wonder why. All right. Dangerous political experiment that is destroying New York City. Oh, Gotham. The man is melodramatic. This guy, this guy is so melodramatic, isn't he? That is destroying New York City. I don't think New York City's having a problem. I think the United States of American citizens are having a problem, though. This guy got a bunch of cojones nonstop as he's effed up the economy, and he's talking about somebody ruining a city while this MFer's ruining a country. This is crazy right now. Hey, by the way, hey Mo, did you get that Argentina beef recall notification? Because you know you can't buy beef from United States farmers. You gotta order it from Argentina. Making Argentina great again. I mean, what the? This all smoke and mirrors. Stop it out here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't play with you guys right now. Trump argues of forcing wealthy taxpayers. The world's a better place without billionaires. They don't get to siphon off all of the resources for a little bit of money. They don't get to buy up the resources. Who owns the aquifers, ladies and gentlemen? Billionaires. Do you understand they can turn the water off for all of our asses? And we got people out here shilling for them to get tax cut, tax breaks, and all this other crap. This is craziness right now. Come on, man. And I don't hear, hey Mo, I don't hear Trump talking about property taxes, which are unrealized gains that we got to pay taxes on. How come he ain't talking about that? Since he's so concerned. Since you guys are so concerned on that side of the fence, how come you guys ain't talking about it? You guys should be upset. And you should be upset in certain states when your insurance bill goes up 3x. When your property taxes go up 2x. More than other places. It should be a concern. Why no concern? Because you got more ordinary citizens than you do millionaires and billionaires. Why aren't we concerned about 20% tax property hikes? What's the deal? I don't understand. 1 year tax is $2,400. Next year tax is $3,200. What's this year? $4,000? Unrealized. And you guys just sit on the sideline worrying about some stuff that helps people. Crazy talking right now. Fleeing the state entirely. Oh, Mo, I'm happy for you, man. Just let me know where you're going. I want to know what red state you're going to so they're making America great again. Please let me know. I want you to get residency down there too, so you can't come back. I want you to get residency. Get your driver's license. Register your vehicle. Make sure you're a resident of that state. This ought to be interesting. Oh, man. Come on. I want you to go live in where you love. Texas, any of the southern, the old Democratic Confederate states, any of them, you can go stay there, man. You can go stay there. I would implore you to go and live there. Don't go back to New York. Just chill out. Talk to me in a year or 6 months or whatever. I get to have fun with you tonight. All right, enough about the Trump thing. Thank God for, like anybody else could do worse. Stop playing out here, man. There's currently high-profile, sarcastic billboard in Times Square trolling Mayor Zohan Mandami as the reason Florida is thriving. Florida's not thriving. What are you talking about? People are trying to sell their houses in Florida right now. Florida has 1 in 7 homes are on the market for sale. They're number one. What are you talking about right now? Say people can talk mess, but when you know the numbers, you can't gaslight me. I know the numbers. No, you have the highest homes. People are trying to leave. They can't sell. Home prices are they're stagnant. They're going down. So what are you saying right now? Nobody's thriving. And one of them towers finally started tilting. As I told you guys, it was weird to me how they can keep lining up the beachfront and not going to have a few of those towers tilt due to them having to tie it down into the what do you call that? Oh man, too much stuff in my brain I've been working on. I'll just say the sediment for now. But you had to get down to the bottom of the rock, and apparently one of these towers did not do it, and I have a feeling 2 or 3 of them didn't do it, because even though they make these big towers, they try to cheap out. That's what they try to do sometimes. They try to cheap out down there, and it's coming back to haunt them. So one of them's starting to tilt, just like in San Francisco. I think it was Panorama Towers. I think it was in San Francisco, where they did the same thing. They cheaped out. They didn't get down to the bedrock. So same thing. They saying, oh, we came up with some new system where we didn't have to go down there. We did this, and that. Yeah, well, that thing goes over a little bit more. The elevators stop in San Francisco. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So you knew some towers. I don't think this will be the only one that's tilting either, because they put these things up so fast. It's ridiculous. All right, enough about this. Enough. I can't talk about this. The digital billboard located at Broadway 43rd was unveiled on August 10th. Yeah, anybody can buy oh, there you go, Florida Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, anybody can buy it. What difference does it make? Dude's the mayor. He's not getting impeached. People love him. He's helping out people. He's helping out the city. He's trying to do something versus, oh, fend for yourself. No, he's out there trying to do something. He says, okay, let me have a grocery store that we can control. It's on government property. We can make the deal for the government rate. So instead of paying grocery store prices, you take off 20 to 30% that grocery stores have to pay for their spots. You take that away, so that means the prices can be 20 to 30% cheaper. Tariff cheaper. So there we go. What's wrong with that? Instead of using eminent domain to steal people's property, he didn't use eminent domain, but they own the buildings. The city owns the buildings. So why not put in a government grocery store that can save people 20, 30, 40%? That helps people. Imagine that. Just saying, man. And yeah, some Florida Chamber of Commerce putting a sign up saying something. That doesn't mean it's true. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be too many New York people that's going to be upset at what Mondami's been doing over the last 6, 8 months, whatever he's been in office. I don't understand. What's the problem? Dude is fixing stuff, getting people health care, getting people child care, ordinary citizens that the government's not doing, that Trump and the Make America Great Again projects took away from citizens. He's helping New Yorkers. I don't see a problem. I don't get what the problem is. And some Florida guys are saying that's bad. Like, but I know you're pro-life. I know you're pro-life, but don't want to help anybody when they're alive. Even the kids, even the babies. You don't want that socialism. Make it make sense. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Please stop. All right, Brian P., welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you and your family. Yes, it is. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. Give it a 1 piece. Thank you. And give it another piece, depending on where you're at. The heart, the like, the checkbox, the star, no matter where you're watching. I got to go. It's an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to be on podcast platforms. So we can't talk about this any much longer. Post-retirement travel, the SSN Nation team are capitalists. Money, money, money. Exactly. That's it. Money, decrease expenses whenever you can. Exactly. Agree. Capitalist. Money, money, money. Exactly. Hey, Eric, how did you like those emails? I didn't check the emails today. I was working with a major little project on a backside of a project that I was working on. And I just been very busy. And I just unlocked something that I wasn't going to do. And I can't even talk about it, unfortunately. But I was messing around with some algorithm, and I'm sitting there thinking, and then I said, you know what? I could just go one step further, and then that changes other parameters for capitalism. That's right, capitalism. Employing OCs. That's right, livable wage jobs. I told you guys, there's stuff coming. It's going to take me a minute. The hiatus has been a blessing, quite frankly. It's been a big, big, big blessing because I was moving at the speed of sound on tunnel vision, and while I'm going down this tunnel, I'm missing something over here. And so while I've been sitting here, I've just been watching some videos, things I've learned, some more stuff, and I was just like, man, I could do this, this, and this. Nobody else does that. Then do this, this, and this. Then charge them when I did this, this, and this. Oh, and I like how I can charge them. It ain't just a few G's. So that changes the dynamic. And it's passive. Ownership and passive. All right. So I didn't check the emails at all. So we'll have to talk about the emails on Friday, unfortunately. Check Chicago and see how many of those government-ran grocery stores are doing. Whatever happens in one place doesn't mean that it happens in another. Or are you trying to say check Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and you say, hey, these states are in the bottom 10% of healthcare and education? Well, not healthcare, but education. What does that mean for other states? I don't really care about Chicago. At least Chicago tried something. Maybe they didn't do it like Mandami. But again, you don't mind paying an extra 15, 25, 30% for tariffs that Trump does. So why you care if it costs you an extra 25, 30% for what Mandami does, which it doesn't. But if it did, I don't see why you would care now. Especially if you're talking about taxing the wealthy like they should be. Why are you shilling for the wealthy? When they already got tax cuts and tax breaks, which you did not. And you didn't get any subsidies either. So I don't really care about what happened. I don't know what happened in Chi-Town. I do know what's happened with Mandami because he says, I don't know if their government stores were free. There's a big difference. Just like our healthcare system is not free. But the senators and people in Congress get free healthcare. So they now have no reason to make sure we have free healthcare. Which would be awfully nice. In fact, they shouldn't have free healthcare either because they're bitching and whining about having to pay for housing in D.C. and they make $175,000 a year and can get bribed at any time. So they can collect millions of dollars from AIPAC, the Israeli lobby. So, are you caring about it? They're getting outside government interference money? You care about that? And then are your senators vote based on what Israel wants? You care about that? I'm like, what do you guys care about? I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't really care about a government store. At least they tried. If it fails, so be it. But these tariff wars, I don't hear you bitching about them. 40%, 35%, 50%. Charging our Canada and and Mexico, we have an agreement, the NAFTA, which was called something else, USMC or something, whatever. The same thing, free trade, and you decide to blow that up. Trump does, and says, oh, we're going to tariff these guys we made a deal with when I was in office 4 years ago. I'm going to tariff those guys now. That was a bad deal. So those guys respond with, oh, we'll just block your companies from selling to our citizens then, if you want to play that game. So then we lose jobs. You like that program. I'm not following how this works. How I'm supposed to be against Mandami when we got a guy actively making sure that United States businesses go out of business. That he actively makes sure that our farmers don't get their beef bought, but we buy from Argentina. What are we talking about here? Please help me. This sounds very stupid. And this means we have businesses going out of business. We have businesses that we're going to have to bail out, which farmers got $12 billion of our taxpayers' money when all you had to do was just make sure that we bought beef from them instead of from Argentina. So now we got to bail out these guys after you snatched their workforce off the streets and put them in the detention center that taxpayers have to pay $775 per day per person. Taxpayer, what the? So you 12 billion, 14 billion bailout of farmers. You take their workforce, deport them or put them in detention centers. So not only do we have to pay the 12 billion, we also have to pay billions every month. And then you have to pay $1 trillion for their Gestapo ICE force. And we get nothing in return except higher taxes, higher costs. Make it make sense while we're worrying about Mandami. My God, this is unstoppable. This is so unbelievable. 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 Chicago's taxpayer, well, see, that's the first problem right there. You already said, see, this taxpayer subsidized. That's not going to work. Grocery initiative has collapsed with all 7 participating. Of course. First of all, this is the same. You should be championing this. This is the same model that Trump is using. Taxpayer subsidized. That's what tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies are. It's the same thing. Your taxpayer subsidizing the bullshit. Oh, now, and you're surprised that it collapsed. Why? That's always going to collapse because it's not building in any set structure where the prices are lower. So you're paying taxpayers out of their pocket, have to pay 11, 12% now in Illinois probably. Then you're saying we're going to subsidize the groceries. That's all you're doing. You're taking taxpayer money, putting it into something so you can lower the price. That's not going to work. The same reason why Trump's won't work either. And that's why we have a huge spending deficit of trillions of dollars every year. $2 trillion last year, and it's going to be more this year. And he's going to add like 3 more trillion to the deficit from now till another year. So it's not just going to be 40 trillion, it's going to be like $42 trillion debt. And he's going to then own about almost 30% of the total deficit over the last 250 years under his 6-year watch. Come on, man. What are we talking about right now? This is silliness. We are making money in here. That's right. We have to. And by the way, you guys, you need to do stock market trading. All right? That's one of the things you might want to learn because the stock market is going to keep going up, going down. You guys should be taking advantage of these things because today was a good day on the NASDAQ. It's going to keep doing that. FB Stewart, I see you in the house. Thank you so much. I'm putting in the stock market. I put in the Bankers. I forgot the findhelp.org, though, for the other platform. Here, let me get you some grants information, all right? Everybody over there on Instagram, show some love. In fact, make sure you smash the Instagram follow button, apparently. They took away like 45 to 50 followers from when I reached the 1,000 for the first time after how many years? 5 years or 4 years, whatever. Crazy. All right. I'm going to give you the Matthew Lesko. That was the grants. Oh, where's the AI? Here we go. Here we go. You want business tools? You want some free help for your business? Put in your zip code, ladies and gentlemen. Get it while you can. All right? Get it while you can. Or, uh-oh. Dang it. That's not good. That's not good. I put in way too much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I'm already overstaying my welcome because Mo gets me excited when he says something about one thing and then his boy Trump's doing the exact same thing after that failed. That's because it can't work. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do what Mondami's doing, where he's removing the 30%, that overhead charge for grocery stores. He removes that. So that means you don't have to do anything. It automatically brings the prices down 30 to 40% or more. So it's a whole different ball game. So that's sustainable. What he was doing in Chicago, whoever the mayor is, I don't know why you would do dumbassery like this, but what he's doing is the price was still a certain price. Let's just say $5,000 a month. So all he was doing was say, hey guys, let me take your money, your tax money, and let me pay down on the $5,000 per month. That doesn't change the price. You're still paying the same price. You have to figure out how to change the price. So now if I can buy I have a free store where I don't have to pay the $5,000 at all, that would have been a better move. You wouldn't have had to get taxpayer money. That's the point. So it was a grift the whole time. You know, the Trump stuff, crypto coins, you know, a cell phone, give me money. I don't know when the phone's coming, but it's made by China anyhow, that kind of thing, you know. Okay, this is crazy right now, man. Come on. We smarter than this. We smarter than this out here, man. We smarter than this. Haha, it's all a hoax. See you in the primaries. Primaries. Price of oil is down. We keep winning. We're not winning, man. We're not winning. Oil price doesn't matter at this point. We're losing. If you're talking, I don't know what you're talking about right now, man. You only make no sense. I don't know what you're talking about. Having a hard time getting endorsements from their base. I have no idea, man. Whatever happens, happens. Just 2 years into a planned 10-year agreement, all 7 locations abruptly close out the face of it. Yeah, of course. If that's that Chicago thing, as soon as you told me it was taxpayer subsidized, that's a problem. As soon as you said that, because that's not going to solve how much the groceries are. Nor is the bill going away. If the bill for any bill goes away, such as the standard monthly cost if a grocery store lease went bye-bye, then they have a large room to drop the prices. And they would sell a lot more goods. So by all means, if somebody was able to figure out a way where grocery stores don't have to pay, then they can drop their prices 30, 40%. Then more people would be happy, because that's significant. At least that gets you back to almost even, because that's how much the tariffs has cost people. So that's no shocker. As soon as you said what that was, this is not rocket science. Most businesses that fall under this same rules where you give them subsidized taxpayer money, that makes things harder. That's why government's deficit. So when we subsidize corporations, that's why there's a deficit. It's not going towards the deficit. Do you guys understand this, right? This is why you have to make more money year after year after year, because inflation is higher than 3%. It's higher than 4%. It's more like double digits. And now it catches up because you can't keep doing 10, 12, 15% year after year. So 10% on the overall scheme of things is not that much if something costs $5 and then it's $5.50. So most people are able to absorb that. Then when it's 550 the following year and it's 575, people can absorb that. Then when it's 620, people could absorb that until 70% were living paycheck to paycheck. You increase the price 75% over the original price. Now people didn't get a price increase of 75%. Now that's where we're at. Starting a year ago at 80% living paycheck to paycheck as American citizens. And in Canada, 85% are living paycheck to paycheck. So therefore, any increase in prices, such as a tariff of 15% or 20 or 25 or 50, 80% already can't pay anymore. What's going to go wrong? I mean, so there's no way to come down from this. And now you're adding up inflation with spending. So you can't get out of it. So this is the same thing. All right. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what's on the board right now. Let's Go Loves AI.com/business. Go check it out. We did it on Monday. We put in a zip code. Some things came up. It was basically for business. If you want to start a business, they have counseling. Like we were in Vegas. They had counseling. And then they had help on structuring. If you wanted to structure a corporation, an LLC, wanted to get funding, they have people that were helping you for free. Organizations, you just call them. Not all may be free, but they all said free. So you go into their meetings, sit down, talk. They actually help you structure your paperwork. Whether you're starting a business, whether you need a loan, they help you with the documents you need. Several different businesses, several different things. So go check it out. The bigger your city, the more they're going to have. That goes a long way. Most people have to go see attorneys. Most people don't know somebody that does business. Like they're not in the SSN Nation. We don't get thousands of views. We don't get thousands. We don't get even hundreds. So we don't get out there so people can never find out about how there's a holding company structure to protect your other businesses and all your assets. They don't know this, all right? So in case you're new here, you have a holding company. It's an LLC. It's a corporation. It does not really matter. It's a holding company. What a holding company does is own the LLCs underneath, all right? You're the owner of the LLCs, but your holding company never does business with the public because the public and other businesses like to do lawsuits. So that's why your holding company has the assets. Or you do what I do. So I create a secondary holding company. So there's a holding company that owns the LLC. Then I make another holding company that holds the assets. Because both of them are silent. So when somebody tries to sue you, or your corporation, I mean, your assets aren't there. So it only freezes everything right there temporarily. Then their lawyer finds out, wait a minute, man, they don't really have any money here because your money every month goes to the holding company. Any profits go to the holding company. All right? Just so you understand. And that gives you a way out because now if somebody does dumb stuff, because lawsuits come out of thin air, then you just create another LLC. That LLC does the same thing as this one. You have the same structure. So whatever they get out of that, so be it. All right? Just giving you guys an idea. But I am not a financial planner. I'm not a CPA. Don't take my advice or what I say is true. Just go talk to somebody. Or since you have AI, you could use that too. Even AI understands that structure because that's very simple. It's not that hard. But if you're going to do this, just remember, your corporations and LLCs must have minutes, must have meetings. They have to be separate. You can't act like it's your alter ego where you're actually running around going, oh yeah, I'm just going to do everything in this LLC. And you have to have an agreement with the holding companies. All right? Intercompany agreements, for instance. Okay? Just saying. Or license, whatever business you're doing, you have to license or do intercompany operating agreements, intercompany agreements. So then this way, it's all separate. So they can't pierce any of these structures because your assets are going to be held in a different location. So you don't care about the piercing of the first one, but the problem is if you don't act like all of them are real businesses with meetings and you write it down, sure, you could own the structure, but each one, you actually have to have meetings. You actually have to have conversations. You have to have things written down. You have to have at least 1 year meetings. So you should do like at least some quarterly or every 6 months. So you're functioning as a separate company, not as one, even though you can own all of them because you're the authorized individual or CEO or whatever of the holding company. And then that means you're authorized to sign for all the other companies. But again, don't play the alter ego. You better have agreements between each company and you have to treat them as separate businesses in the best interest of the business. So you can't give your holding company, can't give your other subsidiaries sweetheart deals that nobody else can get. Just so you understand. Because the IRS, they're going to see a flag. They're going to be like, hey, you can't give them free stuff for a license. You have to charge them if you're going to license them something. And the fact that they're arm's length away corporation and you're trying to do this, oh yeah, you're getting audited. You're getting audited. All right? Because you didn't want to charge them. If you get a license, you better do 3%, 2% at least if it's a startup. And if it's a running business, then it'd probably be 4%. But the point is, they have parameters in their system. When they see stuff like that, they're like, oh, wait, he's acting like, wait, why he has a 0% license fee here? Why? Because they understand your structure because you're filing tax returns. So they're sitting there going, that's not right. He's acting like that's his own little private playground. Let's go check that other subsidiary. Oh, he's got another one, 0. Oh, yeah, he's getting audited. And by the way, we need to check all your books. And we're going to say that this isn't a legal structure. You understand, okay? Don't play around. Because the government's going to be looking for a lot of money. Don't play around. The Democratic National Convention facing major pushback and financial slowdown for high-profile institutional fatigue and frustration on party direction and set ahead limit to. Yeah, I can feel that. I don't feel they're fighting strong enough. Do not contribute. Woo. That's pretty bad. I know. But forget politics. We making money in here. Exactly. Let's make Larimar great again. Oh my God. He's clowning tonight. Larimar cannot be great again. By the way, Mo, your favorite project, I think I told you already. I gave them a copy of the $2,000 payment receipt that I got directly from their office, stamped by their office, says payment receipt on it. In blue, of course, because that's what you need to make it official when you give somebody money and a receipt in DR. They said, we need your bank wire information. I said, I paid in cash in your office. What are you talking about? That's how I got the receipt. If I'd have paid by wire, you wouldn't have given me a frickin' receipt. What the frick are you talking about? I'm like, you don't get receipts if you wired money. At least not the receipt I have. You might get a printout saying, here, we got a payment, but you ain't giving me no damn stamp receipt. Stop playing. And to this day, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days has gone by. They still haven't updated my account for the $2,000 more that I paid. I have a feeling I know why, but I won't get into that right now because they might be watching, and they always do. Because, I'll just tell you. Basically, when you give somebody cash, here's what happens in DR. As a company, since it's cash, you actually have to. It's a corporation. They have to give taxation. So when I gave them $2,000, about 20 to 30% of that was supposed to go to the DGI. So if you claim that you didn't get it, that means you didn't report it. That is actually a problem under Dominican law. But of course, since they're descendants of the EU, they're not going to care about that law most of the time. At least the judges won't. But that's one of the things. So, wow, something else over there. Yeah, exactly, man. Hey, this is why I couldn't even mess. You should have said, "Let me see the book. Somebody's cooking them here." Hey, yeah, they're gonna mess around. They're gonna mess around, and there'll be a trigger of something else that I may tell you guys about if it happens. It's very funny that they're doing this, and all it was is a simple transfer. The guy's gonna take over payment, so all they had to do was show update, and I can't. Since they're not showing the update, he can't send me the money, and he can't take over the payment because he doesn't want to pay the extra 2,000 after he paid me the extra 2,000 that I rightfully should have. Because at the end, when he has to do the total payment, the 2,000 is still going to be there, so he has to give them 2,000 more. So for him, on his side of the fence, it's like 4 grand to him, unless rightfully shows the 2 grand, then he knows it's paid, and now he's not going to have something on the backside. So they're kind of messing this up over 2 grand. And the funny part is, they don't have to give me back my money. Somebody else is going to pay me my money. So they're in the same position. All they have to do is update it so everybody has the record of it. So when he has to do his pay on delivery, they're not going to sit there and go, "Oh, yeah, well, you owe an extra 2 Gs plus the remaining amount on the delivery." So we're just trying to stop that from happening. And for some reason, these guys can't just be like, "Yeah, let's just," I sent him a message yesterday. I said, "Hey," I was like, "this is kind of wild." I don't remember what I said exactly, but paraphrasing. I just found it kind of interesting. I'm just like, you seriously can't update my account for $2,000? I mean, like, what are you doing? I couldn't believe it. It's been 7 days, 6, 7 days. You can't update my account. After I sent you a receipt, this is the third one. I sent another one yesterday. I said, "Here's the third one." I said, "By the way, when I was there, I have 3 more receipts. Because when I was there, the girl asked me, 'Hey, do you want me to give you all your previous payments?' So she brought me all the receipts, which was 4 payments. But the other ones weren't a payment receipt. Only that one was. The other ones was just a copy that I paid. And then they stamped it. Because those are actually on the books. The 2,000 cash that I just gave her, obviously I needed to have a receipt. The other one they sent me emails on that they received a payment. So, of course. So I'm like, what are you guys doing right now? Over 2 grand? That you owe, and you owe me the money. What the? I'm like, this is crazy, man. Eric, I'll be glad when you get out of that mess. Hey, man, me too. But I think this is going to be very, very interesting. I've had 2 people say, because they were talking about they're going to buy it or whatever, and they said, "Man, you shouldn't be getting rid of it. It's going to be something in 2, 3 years. You're going to be missing out." I said, "No, I'm not going to be missing out." I said, "I am not going to be missing out. I don't believe that. I don't see any uphill battle for Larimar to come out smelling like a rose." The reason why I say this is because at their best case scenario, let's just say they had 4 towers built right now. Do you know what else is up there? 1 pool. Nothing else. So are people really supposed to live there? In a build-out zone? Right next to Tower 1 and Tower 3, they're building Horizon View towers. Across the parking lot from Prime Tower 1 and 2, they're building Breeze towers. They still have dirt roads. Because if you start putting down pavement and you're bringing up dump trucks that weigh 15, 10 tons, you're going to mess some stuff up. Kind of like, when they had those armored vehicles traipsing through the reflecting pool. Yeah, that. It messes things up when you have a few tons running on things. And I don't get it. Even if you had another pool there, it makes no sense. I mean, that Amanulu, whatever, beach club, it's another pool. And you still have to drive in and out of this place. And it's a whole build out zone. And I'm like, I don't even know what they're doing. But again, there is no sign. 2028, 2029, 2030. That's when Prime Towers, Breeze, I think Breeze 2, Breeze 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if all three, but all three probably should be delivered by then. And then you would have Paradise Towers, either 2 or 4 of those would be delivered. And there's nothing else. I mean, their golf course, the 18-hole golf course takes 2.5 to 3 years. They haven't even started it. The 9-hole golf course, that's going to take 1.5 to 2 years. Best case scenario. I don't see nobody working on it. The hotels haven't been started. Those generally take 2.5 years to build. So no, we're at 2026. 2.5 means we're at 2029. That's what 2.5 means. So even if you finished all that stuff, you're going to need more. Well, it's in the middle of nowhere. And you better hope that tourism, well, it's too late. It's stalled. It's going to stall is what I'm saying. Even though I don't believe their numbers anymore. Because I don't believe their numbers. Let's just put it that way. It doesn't make any sense. Because we have 80% of the population living paycheck to paycheck on this run-up. We have wars in the Middle East, so that has diverted flights coming from the Middle East, coming across the Middle East. So I don't really know if I should believe their numbers. What's this? Tropical storm Cristobal forms in the Atlantic. Third name storm. All right. Yeah, I was just looking, since we're talking about Dominican Republic real estate. Once again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. I'm looking for today's the 12th. I was looking for July's numbers. We don't. Oh wait, do we really have? Wait, we have numbers? 7.7 million visitors in the first 7 months. We do have numbers. Holy smokes. What happened? 7% increase. So is this another record? In July, the Dominican Republic, 1 million visitors, up 2.9, a total of 921 by air, which I was saying last year, July even had more. Remember, they had 800 and something in June, and I said if things go according to plan, it should be in the 900s, and sure enough, 921,000, because July's the biggest month. That means it's even more than January, February, and March. None of those months were 900 and something. They were in the 800s, but this is 900. But here's the numbers we need to care about. United States remain the country's largest tourism market, accounting for 48%. We're under 50% now. This is what I'm worried about. Remember, Canada and the United States used to be 60%. Both Canada and the U.S. have 80 to 85% of their citizens living paycheck to paycheck. 48% arrived from the United States, and Canada, 7. So we're only at 55%. This has been sliding down. This is the number you need to care about. Because that means other countries, such as Mexico, 5%, which that was never, oh, that's not Mexico. Oh, it is Mexico. Mexico and United Kingdom, 3%. Can you believe that? Both of those countries were never within any range. Now we have Spain at 2%, United Kingdom 3%, Mexico 3%, Puerto Rico 5%, Colombia 6%, Argentina 7%. That's who's making up the bulk of this situation. Here's the problem. The people from America and Canada were the investors. People from UK, investors. A few from Mexico, Colombia, Argentina. So that makeup, where they made up the difference, that 7% Argentina, 6%, and 3%, that's 12%. All of those countries have people that would come and potentially buy inside DR. But the problem is, the guys that hold the most money, USA and Canadian citizens, are now going broke. And now they're losing the market share. And that market share is major because they were the ones that made this whole tourism thing go. So we're going to find out what's going to happen shortly, because when August comes, they're still probably going to break the record, because summer months, for some reason, is always pretty awesome. But when October, November, and December come, that's not going to be good numbers, I don't think. Traditionally, they're not. But I don't see how they keep holding on to this. And the longer the war goes on, the longer that Americans are going to be under a situation with their finances, which is not going to end anytime soon. That's just going to take less and less arrivals by USA and Canadian citizens. 55% is not good. We need USA citizens and Canadians to be in the 60 to 65% range. They're the people spending a lot of money on the island. And that's not good. All right, and we have another problem. Punta Cana International Airport, 58% of July's incoming flights. That is under 60-some%. You see how it's sliding? You see how this is sliding? And it's sliding for several reasons. Las Americas, Santo Domingo's airport, Puerto Plata is 3%, that's it. Sabao Airport's at 13%. So La Romana, Samana Airport's only 1%. So the problem is we have few things going. If you're in Punta Cana, we're not at 60% anymore for the month of July, where air traffic came in, and we're losing our top 2 customers. That's the wrong sliding way. So we need to get rid of the war fast. We need to figure out how to get our costs down in America in order for people to continue to go to DR and invest in DR. But again, investing in DR is kind of hard. It's kind of hard. So how is Larimar doing this? They're canceling your contract and we do a brand new on one with the other person? No. On the Larimar contracts, they can take over payment. So the other person, actually, that's what ultimately happens. But he's taken over my payment plan. Whatever my contract says, that's what he's assuming. And I'd be willing to bet you they're probably going to throw in something, knowing them. Something they forgot about before. I'm pretty sure. So we'll find out. But I don't really care. George's Charles did his. So he would know better, but it happened in less than 24 hours. So I was like, what? He just sent me a message the next day after the day I said, hey, man, you can get this one. The guy will buy it. He sent me a message the next day. It's done. I was like, what do you mean done? I couldn't believe it. So they literally just took over my payment plan. Or took over George's payment plan in this case. So they'll take over mine. And George stopped paying on his as well, just like I did. So whatever deal. But hopefully the deal they make with the guy is that delivery is going to be 2027 December. So he'll be in the same boat, same payment plan as what I have. It'll end up being the same as what I would have. So he can just follow it pretty much. And they're not going to deliver in 2027 either. I don't think. Not all four towers. If they do, all they did was, for everybody that's a Larimar owner, they screwed us. Because they're putting in some funky interior dividing systems that go with stainless steel tracks. And they're having to put them in the cement. They're putting the studs in the cement. So now I don't know how they're going to soundproof this. Because how it works, the reason why you could be in a hotel room and you hear people in the other rooms, a room over or TVs all over, is because they did this same cheap ass method. So sound carries on cement, on metals, it carries on bolts, anything that's metallic and metals, sound carries. And then when you don't have the proper insulation, because the proper insulation on these systems, you can't just use your normal fiberglass insulation because, okay, that's insulation, but that's not sound. You can't use the same cements. So you have to change your blocks. In other words, they should have they're going to have to use soundproofing materials. They're not going to do it. That costs more money. So that's why I think this. There's several things that I think's bad. Because I don't see any signs. And they're cheaping out on the furniture package to pay. People are going to pay double for furniture package than what the package actually costs. That stuff is not worth no more than $12,000, $13,000. And they're going to charge people 24, 26, 27, 30 grand. Good news, you can make your own. Go see Opine Furniture in Punta Cana. Joel, tell them SSN Nation so you get a better discount, all right? That's what you got to do there. But to your question again, they're just having people assume the contract because it's in our original contract that somebody can take over the payments. So I don't think there's anything to it because, like I said, George did it in 24 hours. The guy signed it or whatever they sent over, the guy signed and sent George's money. So it's all good. That's how we do it. So I thought I'd be done already, but I didn't even know nothing about it until the guy called Larimar or whatever, got in touch with Larimar, and then he sent me a message going, "Oh, okay, man, I got to give you 15 G's." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "No, they didn't update the contract." I said, "Well, then it's DOA on arrival. That ain't going to happen." I said, "So you have a copy of it, so you know it was paid too." So I said, "The only thing you're going to be paying is more than that." So that's how it went. So then I said, "Well, I ain't taking less because that means I'm shortchanged." And he's saying, well, he's not going to do it because he's going to be shortchanged. So neither one of us can do anything because they won't update the contract. That's all they had to do was just say, okay, yes, it's 17, 18,000 and we're rolling. 17 G's, we're rolling from there. Nobody cares. Just update it. Like I said, in DR, there's a problem. Because people, I can't believe these guys did all this when there's a lot of money that was going to the DR between 2019, 2018, and 2024. There's a lot of money. So I didn't realize what these guys were doing until we did the SSN Lifestyle Music Festival because I stayed there for like months, 2 months, 3 months. And so that's when I was like watching how they're treating their employees, how they're treating Dominicans, and everybody was looking for their money. And then I had deals there for the SSN Lifestyle SRL. And that's when they were messing around talking, hey, I'll give you your money, but I got to give you 3 or 4% right now. The developer's not paying. I'm like, what? Like all kind of crazy stuff starts happening. But if you weren't there, which I never was, and I didn't have my SRL, I wasn't implementing it, then it was kind of like, okay, you're just on the surface. Once I'm there, I found out they don't pay the realtors. They're not paying brokers. Developers aren't paying the real estate brokers. All kind of mayhem's going on. And any deal that you have that they owe you money, they want to give you half. So all of a sudden, or nothing at all. And so all of a sudden, this was a whole different, everything's not kosher. And because I was marketing it for them, all type of different projects, all type of areas, they were loving me. That's why the love. Because I was bringing them in customers. They didn't have to pay me. I wasn't on their books for anything. So they were loving life. But then when I stayed there and found out their bullshit they were doing, that's why I'm like, no, you oppressors. I said, I didn't realize I was helping you oppress people. I don't like gatekeepers or oppressors. We can't do business no more. Shutting you down. No, videos shut off, almost all the ones I could find. Shut off. They are unlisted. So nobody can see them unless people actually sees an old something and they have a link to it. But most people aren't going to see that either because I'm buried. So that's the thing. That's why I had a different point of view after the SSN lifestyle. And the other thing, they just owed me money. Several entities owed me money. And it wasn't no $5,000 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50. It's more. So that's when I was like, okay, all right, smiling in my face all these years, fucking assholes. So that's why I changed the whole thing. I'm like, you guys are shut down now. I don't got nothing good to say. I'll just tell people like it is. And that's why we have a situation like right now. So now we don't have the realtors, we don't have the brokers, you don't have all their ecosystem kind of dried up where they at one time would have, 20 people trying to sell their property, running all over the state, all over the countryside, getting their customers, holding up signs in a mall, at the airport, doing all kind of things. Now, people didn't get paid. People aren't interested. So now the developers have to spend more dollars to acquire a sale. Before it was just free coming in because there were so many people. Then when they didn't pay people, people were like, okay, then I'm not going to do this. And then those people tell their friends. So that's how come you have less salesmen there. And that now means Larimar and others have to make their own videos. They have to pay more for advertising. And that isn't good because now that takes away from their building costs. And that's a shame. And not really. That's what they deserve. You get what you deserve. So that's the deal with DR. It was a great investment. Everybody gets their money who did anything prior till 2024, mid 2024, I'll call it that. Because in 2024, that's when they started selling 1 bedrooms for $170 and 2 bedrooms for $225 and up. And right now, you cannot get $170 per night for a 1 bedroom. So you can't get like $1,200 for the week. And even if you do, that's with the 15% add-on. So Airbnb charges 15% more than what you charge now. So if a customer pays $1,200, you're really getting 15% less. And that's if DR hasn't messed with putting a tax on Airbnb. So if it's still 3%, that's no problem. But the $1,200 is not $1,200 anymore. It's $1,200 less 15%. So you had to increase your prices. Just so everybody understands. 10% is 120, so what is that? 180. So your $1,200 ends up being 1,020 minus 3%. So that's $30. So you're going to get 900 and let's call it $90 for your week when you should be getting 1,200. That's a big difference. And if you have 30%, 40% occupancy, you might as well you're going to be paying for the people to stay there. That's not good. That's not good. Eric, you have done a lot in Punta Cana, from reserving units at different projects to bringing a concert event. You're a legend there. Don't leave us. Hey, man. Let's just call it what it is. Here's what's going to happen. I'll just tell you what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I have a prediction. It's going to crash. That's what I predict. Because of the tourist numbers, people don't believe it's going to crash for the short-term rental market, which means that's what the majority of people who bought these projects, that's what they're doing. And so once that crashed, people are going to offload. Like what's happening right now. People are trying to offload. Like me, George, other people, like the people at Atlantis, who's willing to take L's. They're willing to take 10,000, 15,000 less to get rid of their river islands. Because they have a clause too. Noval has a clause where people can take over payments. Because these guys had to pay 80%. So 80% of 200,000 is 160,000. So that's why these guys are even more dire, because they're like, we paid 160 of the 200, and so we're willing to take 150. We'll take 145 so we can get out, because they realize the same thing. They're late, and then what's going to happen is half of the project is going to be short-term rentals. And they see the writing on the wall, because they can easily see right in Los Corrales, in that zone, they can see a 1-bedroom and 2 bedrooms, what their rental prices are. Remember, that 0.1% is what I go by. And so I can't charge $200 a night. And they know that, because Reserva Real is up the street, and that's a condo hotel. So they can see right now at Reserva Real, the 1-bedrooms are like $80 a night. Actually, right now, they're probably $73 a night. Somewhere like that. And then the 2 bedrooms are like $100. So you're getting half your price, which means you have to double to get to 50%. That means you need 100% to break even. That's what it means. You're not going to get 100%. So that means they're losing. And that's why they read the writing on the wall, because it's a Noval property. They see the Noval property at Los Corrales too, Coral Village. And the other ones too, the garden, what's that other one? Paseo Del Mar. They know what's happening there too. So the writing's on the wall for all these owners, because Noval is a close-knit community. They have their own little groups and stuff, and they're all talking. They're saying, man, I can't believe it. I bought this place over here for $119, $109, $99. I have it in the rental pool. I got $400 for the month. Because they get 50, they get 45% of the $70, the $85 price is what it comes out to. So they're getting like $45. That's not going to work. You'd have to be, 100% is not going to cut it. And they're not getting 100% occupancy, so it doesn't matter. All right, that's what we're doing. Is George unloading his project at Cruise on Land too? Isn't that project on track? That's not what I saw. No. Cruise on Land, they actually told people last year, at the end of last year, that they are not delivering until summer of 2028. And notice you see no Cruise on Land, nothing. Because they're going to run into the same problem. Because they have massive buildings, massive projects, and they want to create an amusement park, which is not cheap. And now they don't have the sales that they once had either. So that's why they had to do theirs as well. And I doubt if they're even going to deliver in 2028. And that's even after they were going to have 4 buildings in the first phase. Then they said, oh, we're going to make it 2 buildings in the first phase. Then their sports complex, they changed that, said, nah, we ain't going to do it like that. The roller coaster and the buggy ride and all that section, no, we're going to change that up too. The amphitheater, no amphitheater. Forget that. That ain't happening. The amphitheater, the real one, 5,000 people. That's not happening. It's a travesty. Everything was set up for these guys. All the government had to do was get on board in 2020, 2021, 2022, get everything straight. Instead, rogue nation all the way around. Even though they have deeds, even though everything was straight, the problem is their infrastructure allows, which at the time I didn't realize that they would do nothing. I thought they would protect their assets. Noval is a great contractor. The problem is that they have agreed to build too many projects under their portfolio. I know at least 3 in just Punta Cana and Cap Cana and Cana Bay. That's more than 3. They got Atlanta, they got Oceana, they got the what is that, Royal Villas on the beach. They still haven't opened that yet. They got, do they have the Wave Garden? They got Riviera Bay. They got Poseidonia in Rock. They got, that's 5 right there. They got the one in Samana that's in swampland that they should never have gotten approval for. That got hemmed up from a 2020 build. I think it's called Reef. They got like 9 projects out there. 9 or 10. Just in this area. We don't know about Santo Domingo and all the other locations. But again, you have to understand who these guys are. They have agreed to build too many. These guys, Noval is different. They're very smart. Okay, so the reason why Noval properties go up fast is because they're doing something different. They have investors. Picture this. So, you know how they have those $99,000 studio or 1 bedrooms? They always have those. They have 5 of them. And then the price goes up to like 119 or 115 or whatever. They have in-house investors. So what's happens when they open up their project, they have people that they didn't pay 99, they paid 79 or 69 for the 1 bedroom. They paid 99 or 89 for the 2 bedroom in-house. So the investors send them all their money for the units because these investors are making money every time because they're making people pay 80%. Think about this. So the investors are happy because even if they get a 10% return within a year, that's good. It's a win-win. So now Noval has no incentive to do anything. That's why they don't care about being late. I was like, this can't be happening right now. They have an ecosystem. Hey, being in business for 20-some years, they made an investment pool. Just saying. At least, allegedly. Because I didn't get this firsthand from Noval. I got this from somebody else that worked for Noval. So I assumed it was true. So therefore, I probably should believe it, but it's allegedly. Because I didn't see paperwork. But the fact of the matter is, then it made sense on how they're able to have all these places just sitting for 7 years, 8 years without building. And they don't care. I was always bothered. I was like, how are they just sell stuff and just let it sit for 5, 6 years, not do anything? Like I said, Oceana's overdue by 2 years. I think it was March or something of 2025. But they're still going to be overdue by 2 years. Riviera Bay is overdue by 6 years. Poseidonia, they had that on track for, let me see, it came out in 2023. They had that on track for some time, like, no, it was out there. 2026, I mean, 7 or 8. So that's out there. But still, they're not going to be anywhere near finished when 2027 or 2028 comes up. And they still not even anywhere near Atlanta. So they have one more. No, that's just, is that Jesper's property? Yeah, they have one more in El Corsicito, I think. But that's how they do it. That's why they're able to succeed, because they're not like everybody else. They have investors, so they're winning. They got their money, and then they get to get a piece of the updated price. So their investors get their money, and then when somebody has to pay 80%, they've actually already profited it. They profited on that money. And then, since they're carrying a piece of paper, you know what you can do with the derivative. You can go to a bank and say, hey, man, look at this. I got this stuff, this $200,000 for 2 bedrooms, $250,000. Look at this. I got 100 of these. You'll give me a loan against this asset, won't you? Yes, we will. So they're in no rush. They don't really care. They'll just get some more property, which they already have, and then they'll just open up a new project in Macau or somewhere else down the line by Macau Beach. So that's how they operate. I'm not mad at them. The Grant Cardone and the other guys, you know, what do you call them? Syndicators. That's basically what they kind of do. That's what a syndicator does. They buy the property or the apartment building. Then they turn around and say, hey, we have a fund for you guys. I bought the apartment. They don't say this, but he bought the apartment building for $8 million. I'm going to sell it to the fund for $10 million. He makes $2 million, right? Personally, or his other business, whatever. And then the investors are on a $10 million property. So, same thing. Kind of like what they do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Free money, you know where to get it. Findhelp.org. You want business help? Matthew Lesko, he's the man. Lesko, lovesai.com. Lesko, lovesai.com. Go there. If you're in business, you get lots of help. And they teach you how to get funding, how to get government contracts in most major cities. In fact, I know all major cities will have it. Rural cities may not have that much help, but I'm sure they have a little. So if you're trying to do something and you need government funding, government contracts, your business may qualify, you want to do a nonprofit, they have people that can help you do it. I could help you, but I'm not licensed for that. All right. Coralina. That's another one of theirs. They have projects in by eBay too. They got projects all over the place. They got enough projects to build if they did nothing for the next 10 years that they have actually sold now. And they're not getting around to them anytime soon. Poseidonia is going to be at Conarock is going to be like a 5-year plan. The first phase, they got like 6 phases. Just so you know, they're selling those phases as every year goes by. But they're not going to finish building any of them phases till 2033 or something. The first phase maybe, but getting out the whole build, probably 2033 to 2035. And that brings us back to Larimar. In order for them to finish, I don't even know if they'll hit the finish line. Quite frankly. It's sad. We'll see how it goes. I love you guys very much. It's always a sterling live stream. You guys know I love you guys. I appreciate your support over all these years. I appreciate you being here, but make sure you smash the like button so these gods out here, these social media gods, show some love. Hopefully I've left some things for you down below that you can use on all platforms. All right. Yeah, that looks like, no, I don't need to do that. We've already done it. Okay. Just checking a few other things before we go. But make sure, please, like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And make sure you get your free money. The links are down below. Make sure you get free business money. The links are down below. Make sure you get your passive income going. Buy your story. Write a book. Do audio. Put it online so you can get paid. Just saying. That's one thing. Copyright it as well. Publish it as well. So this way it's on record that it's yours. Not some made up story. Unless you want to make up stories. You can do that too. But make sure you copyright whatever you do. Make sure you publish, because you can self-publish these days. Or you can shop it too. And then somebody will buy it and give you whatever deal you make with them. But everybody has a story. Some more compelling than others. But sometimes the non-compelling stories are compelling. Storytelling, movie making, TV series making, book writing can be dramatic license. Just saying, that's what they often do. So that is IP, intellectual property. You own it. That means you can try to sell it to TVs, movies, film, entertainment industries. Go on a book tour. Sell books. Just saying. That's one way that anybody can get in. Will you be successful is another story, but you have a way to promote it because there's all kinds of social media platforms. But you can't be shy. Roll tape. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we give you something to think about. Buy assets that pay you. A house is not an asset, it's a liability. Your insurance price, your insurance cost, and your property tax cost, and your energy bills, water, sewer, garbage, they're all going to go up every year. Just keep that in mind. And you don't know the amount. Okay? So that means it's a liability. Because you don't make money by doing nothing. You have to make money to live in a house. Or even if you rent, you still have to make money. So that's why it's a liability. It's going out. That's it. I'll see you guys on Friday night at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It would be lovely to see you again. Make sure you bring whatever you want to talk about. All right? Might be another open mic night, which will be cool. But we will be talking about recalls, just so you know. I might even start the stream early to talk about recalls. How about that? I think that's the best thing to do. 9 p.m. I'll start it to go through some recalls for 10 minutes to get them all out the way. Courtesy of Brian P. All right, ladies and gentlemen, show some love, smash the like buttons, and make sure you stay safe out here, because you never know what somebody's going through. But I know 80% of the population is going through something. And just make sure you watch your back, watch your family's back, make sure you're safe. Don't act irrational. A lot of people are. They're losing it. And you can't blame them. And with all that said, keep your head up. Keep moving.